The smoke still hangs in the air. Everyone is looking at me like I should already know what to do. My brothers are gone, just gone, and the room feels too clean for what happened. My hands want to shake, but the linen on my sleeves must stay straight. I breathe once. "Keep serving," my father's voice says without words. I step forward anyway. If I break, the whole holy order breaks with me. A bowl of ash sits near the altar like it belongs there. My mind says it shouldn't. I hear sandals on stone. I don't turn. If I turn, I might see their empty space again. The oil on my skin smells sweet and wrong for this moment. My father's shoulder brushes mine. Steady, heavy. "Don't uncover your head," he murmurs. I swallow my grief like bitter water and lift the next offering with calm hands. The people wait outside. I can feel their questions through the curtain. What went wrong? Who is to blame? Will God strike again? My throat tightens. I want to run into the desert and scream where no one hears. But the bells don't ring for my fear. They ring for order. I check the fire. I check the steps. I check my own face in a bronze reflection. Not a tear. Not here. A voice in me whispers, "You could refuse. No one would blame the son who just lost his brothers." Then I see the knife set in its place, the basin washed, the bread laid out straight. Everything is still moving, like a wheel that cannot stop. I press my thumb into my palm until it hurts. Pain is simple. Grief is not. I choose the simple thing and speak the next words without trembling. The silence breaks with a small mistake. Someone sets a vessel down too hard. The clang hits my bones. For a heartbeat, I expect fire again, the sudden kind that doesn't ask permission. My eyes jump to the doorway. Nothing, only air, only smoke, only the slow breathing of men trying to act normal. I step closer to the flame, not away from it. If fear is watching me, I will make it blink first. My father doesn't cry. That scares me more than if he did. His face is stone, but his eyes look far away, like he's counting every rule so he won't fall apart. He leans in. "Eat what is holy here," he says. My stomach turns. Food after death feels like betrayal, yet the law is a rope around us, tight, keeping us from dropping into the dark. I nod, and the nod costs me more than tears. I lift the portion to my mouth, and my hands finally betray me, just a little tremble. I hide it by adjusting the cloth on my wrist. The taste is plain, but my mind adds ashes. Outside, someone coughs. Somewhere a child asks a question too loud. I want to answer with truth. I don't know why. Instead, I chew, slow and steady, like obedience can rebuild what fire took. My jaw aches from holding everything in. Night comes, but the tent never feels dark. Oil lamps make shadows that look like moving hands. I wash my fingers again and again, even when they're already clean. My brothers' names keep rising in my throat like a confession. I don't let them out. If I say them here, in this place, I might turn them into an accusation against God. So I whisper only one word into the linen air, "Teach me." And the silence answers back. Morning brings rules like fresh chains. I stand where my brothers once stood, and the space beside me feels louder than any trumpet. A messenger pulls the curtain back. "The leaders are here," he says. My heart drops. Leaders mean scrutiny. They will watch every move, looking for a crack. I straighten my sash until it bites my ribs. If my hands slip, they'll call it sin. If my voice shakes, they'll call it fear. Either way, eyes will judge. They enter with careful steps like men walking near a cliff. Their perfumes fight with the smell of smoke. One of them won't meet my eyes. He keeps staring at the altar, as if it might flare again. I begin the service, voice even, words measured. Inside, I count every breath. Don't add. Don't change. Don't improvise. My brothers tried to bring something extra. Extra became disaster. Today, I will offer only what is commanded, and still I fear it won't be enough. A young priest hands me the incense. Just holding it makes my skin go cold. My mind flashes. Fire, silence, the empty place where laughter used to be. I set the incense down and pause a beat too long. The leaders notice. I feel their attention tighten like a rope. My father's gaze cuts to me, warning, not comfort. I force my fingers to move again, slow and exact. In this tent, hesitation can look like rebellion. After the rites, I find the offering that should have been eaten, left untouched. My stomach drops, not because of hunger, but because unfinished things invite questions. I stare at it like it's a witness that can speak. Footsteps. My father comes fast. His voice is low, sharp. Why was it burned? I open my mouth, but the real answer is not simple. I couldn't swallow grief again. I say nothing, and silence becomes my first confession. My father waits. The leaders wait. Even the lamps seem to wait. I finally speak, but not like a priest, like a son. Today, things happened. My voice cracks on the smallest word. I look at the ground, at the ash line, at the careful order that didn't save my brothers. If I had eaten, I whisper, would it have been pleasing? No one answers right away. The pause feels like judgment falling in slow motion. My father's shoulders sink a fraction, like he's been holding a mountain alone. He doesn't shout. He doesn't punish. He just looks at me, and in that look, I see the same storm I'm hiding. It is as you said, he murmurs, almost to himself. Relief should come, but it doesn't, because mercy feels fragile here, like a lamp that could go out with one bad breath. And I still have to serve tomorrow. I sleep, but only in pieces. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the same sound, the sudden hush after the flame. Before dawn, I rise and touch my priest clothes like they might bite. The linen is cool, innocent. I am not. Outside, the camp stirs. Life moves on like nothing broke. I tie the sash again, tighter than yesterday, maybe tight enough to hold my heart in place. Then a runner arrives, urgent, breathless. Eleazar, come. He leads me past sleeping tents to a spot where the ground is trampled. Two men argue in whispers, sharp as blades. Unclean, one says. No, just afraid, the other snaps. When they see me, they stop like children caught stealing. Between them lies a covered bundle, nothing shown, only the shape of trouble. My throat dries. In my world, unclean spreads fast. If I name it wrong, the camp pays. If I delay, fear becomes law. I crouch near the bundle, careful not to touch. The cloth is plain, but the air around it feels heavy, like everyone's breath is trapped inside. Who was with him? I ask. Their answers overlap, too fast, too eager to be innocent. I raise a hand, and they fall silent. Power is strange. It comes when you don't want it. I listen for one honest detail. At last, one man admits, he went too close to the holy place. My pulse jumps. Too close is how tragedies begin. The words hit me like cold water. Too close. My mind pulls up my brothers' faces without permission. I stand, forcing the memory back down. No one moves, I say, and my voice surprises even me. Steady, flat. The men nod too fast. Fear makes liars polite. I send the runner for my father, but my feet won't leave the spot. If this is another breach, I might be the one who must declare it, and once declared, it cannot be taken back. While we wait, I replay every instruction I've ever heard. What defiles, what separates, what must be carried outside the camp. The list is long, but today every word feels like a blade edge. One of the men keeps glancing at the bundle like it might move. I notice his hands. Soot under the nails. You were at the fire, I say. He flinches. Why? He swallows. Because someone told me to hide the smell. My stomach drops. Hide. That means guilt. My father arrives, eyes already tired like he hasn't slept since the fire. He listens, then looks at the bundle without stepping closer. Uncover nothing, he orders. The men shift, relieved, until he adds, Bring water, bring witnesses. Witnesses! That word turns my mouth dry, because witnesses mean a story will spread, and stories shape fear. My father's gaze lands on me. You will lead this. I nod once, but inside I feel the ground tilt. Leading means owning the outcome. I choose a wide space between the tents, far from children, far from the altar, far from rumors that can grow teeth. I place stones in a rough circle, a boundary everyone can see. No one crosses, I say, and my voice carries. The witnesses line up like shadows, pretending they aren't afraid. I hate that I can feel their fear leaning on me, asking for a verdict that will make them feel safe. The water jar arrives, sloshing softly. I kneel, dip my fingers, and let the cold bite wake me up. My mind keeps searching for my brothers like they might step out from behind a tent and laugh at this heavy duty. But the camp is quiet in the wrong way. I look at the soot-nailed man. Tell it again, I say. Slow. He tries. His story changes on the second sentence. I don't accuse him. Not yet. Accusation is a spark. I've seen what sparks can do. Instead, I turn to the bundle and speak like the law can hear me. We will do this clean. We will do this true. My hands hover over the cloth. My chest tightens. If I lift it, I might find proof of sin or proof of panic. Either one will stain the camp. Either one will stain me. And then, from the edge of the circle, a woman's voice breaks the rules. Stop! That isn't his! Every head turns to her. That's what fear does. It swivels fast, looking for someone else to carry it. The woman stands just outside my stone circle, breathing hard, hair covered with a worn scarf. Her eyes don't flinch from mine. That alone feels dangerous. What do you mean? I ask. I keep my voice calm, but my pulse is loud. Whose is it? She points, not at the bundle, but at the soot-nailed man. He brought it, she says. I saw him before sunrise. He didn't come from the place you think. He came from the backs of the tents, like someone hiding. The man's face drains. She lies, he blurts too quick. I lift a hand. No shouting. The words come out sharper than I intended. Silence drops, thick as cloth. I can feel the camp leaning in. One wrong move, and this becomes a mob, not a court. I step toward the woman, stopping at the stones. Say only what you saw, I tell her. No guesses? She nods once. He was alone. He carried it like it was heavy, and he kept smelling his own hands. She looks down, then up again, like he feared someone would notice. I glance at the man's fingers. The soot isn't from a cooking fire. It's darker, finer. Ash. My throat tightens. I can't say my brothers' names, but their shadow stands right here with us. I turn to the witnesses. Two of you, come closer. You will help me lift the cloth. My hands hover again. The man steps forward, desperate. Eleazar, please, don't open it. That is the moment I know. Whatever is under that cloth, it was meant to stay hidden. My fingers pinch the edge of the cloth. For a heartbeat, my mind begs me to stop. Leave it covered. Leave it unknown. Let the day pass without another stain. But unknown things grow. They breed fear. I lift. Under the cloth is not a body, not even close. It's a small bronze pan, darkened by heat. Beside it, a pouch of resin and crushed herbs, incense, and there, wrapped in a scrap of linen, a coal still warm enough to whisper smoke. The witnesses inhale like one creature. I don't move. I can't. My brother's last mistake sits in front of me, quiet and ordinary, like any tool, until it isn't. The soot-nailed man's knees buckle. I didn't mean harm, he says, words spilling. People talk. They say the fire will come again. I thought if we made an offering first, maybe it would calm him before he looks at us. I hear the logic. It's the same logic that kills. Fear trying to buy safety. I pick up the bronze pan with a cloth, careful, like it's a snake. Who told you to do this? I ask. He shakes his head fast, too fast. No one. The woman's voice is small now. He met with someone last night. My skin goes cold, because someone in the camp can mean a friend or a leader. I look at the witnesses. You saw it, I say. You will not twist it. Then I face the man again. You will come with me to Aaron. I keep my tone steady, but inside I'm shaking, not from anger, from the thought that my brother's tragedy is already becoming a pattern, and I might not be able to stop it. I walk the soot-nailed man through the camp like a storm cloud with legs. People step aside, not out of respect for me, out of fear of what I carry, a story. The bronze pan is wrapped in cloth and held close to my chest. It feels heavier than it should. At my father's tent, the guard lifts the flap. Warm light spills out. Aaron is inside, sitting very still, as if movement might crack him. When he sees the bundle in my arms, his eyes sharpen. He knows without asking. I lay the wrapped pan on the ground between us and unwrap it. The faint smoke curls up like a secret trying to escape. Aaron's jaw tightens. For a moment, I think he will shout. He doesn't. That scares me more. Who? He asks. The man drops his face to the dirt. No one, he repeats, but his voice is thin. Aaron looks at me, not the man. It's a question and a command. Read him. Decide. I hate that. I want rules, not instincts. Instincts can be wrong. Instincts can accuse the innocent. I kneel, so my eyes are level with the man's. You carried a coal, I say softly. You carried incense. You carried fear. Tell me the name that gave you courage. His lips tremble. He whispers something too quiet. What? Aaron says. I lean in. The man's breath smells like smoke and panic. He says it again, clearer, and the name lands like a stone in my stomach. It's one of the leaders. Aaron closes his eyes, not in surprise, in pain. And I realize this isn't just about one man trying to help. This is about power testing the holy line, seeing how close it can get without burning. Aaron opens his eyes and looks past me, as if he can already see the ripples moving through the camp. Bring him, he says, not loud, not angry, just final, a leader. One of the men who watched me yesterday, judging my pauses, measuring my voice, we don't drag him, we invite him, because power hates ropes, but it can't resist a summons. A runner goes, minutes stretch like dry leather. The soot-nailed man sits on his heels, shaking. I stand beside the pan, guarding it like it might leap into someone's hands. When the leader arrives, he wears calm like a cloak, richer cloth, cleaner hands. He smiles at Aaron as if this is a normal morning. You sent for me, he says. Aaron points to the bronze pan. Do you know this? The leader's eyes flick down, too quick, then back up, smooth. I've seen many pans, he answers. We all have. I feel heat rise in my neck. That's the trick. Make truth sound ordinary. I step forward before I can stop myself. He said your name, I say, voice controlled but tight. I gesture to the soot-nailed man who won't lift his face. The leader's smile fades just a little. And you believe him? He asks. A frightened man? After what happened with your brothers? My lungs freeze. He used them like a weapon, like a lever. I want to strike back with words. Instead, I force myself to breathe. I remember the altar, the rules, the cost of extra. Aaron's voice cuts in, low and steady. Do not speak of my sons to escape truth. For the first time, the leader looks uneasy, but he doesn't confess. He simply says, prove it. And I realize, in this camp, fear is contagious, but so is denial. Prove it. The leader says it like a door slammed softly. Not a shout. Worse, a challenge. Aaron doesn't move. He studies the man the way you study a crack in a wall. Quiet, patient, already deciding what must be repaired. I look at the bronze pan again. It's ordinary metal. No name carved, no seal, nothing that points to a powerful hand. Only the soot-nailed man's trembling and the woman's warning. Only fear. But then I remember the detail that doesn't fit. The coal wrapped in linen. Not any linen. The weave is tight, clean, priestly. I lift the scrap carefully, show it to my father. Aaron's eyes narrow. He touches it with 2 fingers, like touching grief. "This is sanctuary linen," he says. The leader's smile returns, thin. "Many hands wash linen," he replies. "Many scraps fall." I hate how smooth he is. Smooth men are hard to hold. I turn to the soot-nailed man. "Where did you get the cloth?" I ask. He shakes, then blurts, "From the store tent, by the lamps. He told me it would keep it from burning my skin." I glance at Aaron. The store tent is watched, counted, measured. Nothing holy should leave without a record. Aaron stands at last. The air in the tent changes, like a storm choosing a direction. "Eleazar," he says, "you will check the store." His voice softens a fraction. "And you will do it with witnesses." The leader lifts his chin. "Do it," he says, like he owns the process. I step out into the morning light with 3 witnesses behind me. My hands are steady, but my stomach twists. Because if the store is missing 1 scrap, the leader will call it coincidence. If it's missing many, then someone has been stealing holiness in the dark. And the camp will learn that the fire wasn't the end. It was a beginning. The store tent smells like oil and folded cloth, clean, sharp, almost comforting. Almost. A guard stands at the entrance, proud and bored, until he sees my sash and the witnesses behind me. His posture snaps straight. "Open," I say. Inside shelves hold jars, wicks, and bundles of linen stacked like silent promises. I walk slow because rushing is how you miss what matters. My fingers hover over the cloth stacks, counting by feel, 1, 2, 3, a gap. Small, but real. A bundle that should be tight is loosened, like someone pulled from the middle and pressed it back, hoping no one would notice. I lift the top layer. More gaps. Not enough to scream robbery, but enough to whisper pattern. The guard shifts. "People come in all the time," he says quickly, "for lamps, for cleaning." "Names," I reply. He blinks. "Names. Who came in last night?" I say, "after the lamps were lit." He swallows. His eyes dart to the witnesses, then away. I didn't write it," he admits. "The leader's man said no record was needed. He said you priests were busy." Busy? That word tastes like dirt. I turn to the witnesses. "You heard," I say. They nod, faces pale. Behind us, a shadow falls across the entrance. I feel it before I see it. Someone tall, someone calm. The leader has followed. He stands in the doorway with that same smooth smile. "Searching my camp now?" he asks. My throat tightens. My camp? He said it like the holy place is just another tent he owns. I step between him and the shelves. "Searching for what is holy," I answer. His eyes slide to the linen stacks, then back to me. "Be careful, Eleazar," he murmurs. "Sometimes when you pull threads, the whole cloth tears." And in that moment I understand. This isn't about linen. It's about control. The leader's smile stays, but his eyes harden. He steps in like he belongs to every corner. The guard bows his head. The witnesses go still. I don't bow. Not because I'm brave, because if I bend now, I'll stay bent. "These stores are under priestly charge," I say. My voice is calm, but my ribs feel tight. Holy items aren't borrowed for comfort. He walks closer, slow. "Comfort?" he repeats, amused. "Is that what you call it? I call it protection. The people are afraid. They need to see action." "Action without command is rebellion," I answer, and the words taste like risk. For a second, the tent is quiet enough to hear the oil in the jars settle. Then the leader leans in, low so only I hear. "Your brothers wanted to act too," he whispers. "Look where action got them." My hands go cold. The jab is precise. He's testing how deep my wound is and whether it will make me careless. I force myself to meet his eyes. "Don't use them," I say, softer than a threat, heavier than a plea. He straightens, smile back on for the witnesses. "We all want what's best," he says aloud. Let the priests count their cloth. Let them soothe themselves with rules. Rules, like it's a toy. I turn to the guard. From now on, you write every name, I say, no matter who tells you otherwise. The guard nods quickly, relief and fear mixed. The leader laughs once, quiet. Write my name then, he says. My jaw tightens. I will. He steps out, leaving the tent brighter and colder at the same time. The witnesses exhale like they've been drowning. I look at the missing linen again. It's small, but small thefts make big doors. And someone has just told me, to my face, that they're willing to push. When I return to Aaron's tent, the leader is already there, sitting as if he never moved, as if the camp itself revolves around his patience. Aaron watches him with a quiet fire that doesn't need smoke. I place the witness statements like stones on the ground, the missing linen, the guard's confession, the soot-nailed man's trembling. The leader listens and nods, almost approving. So, he says, a guard failed his duty. A foolish man played with coals, and you found a few gaps in cloth. Is that your great crisis? I feel the trap. Make it sound small. Make me look dramatic. Make the holy line look like a rumor. Aaron speaks first. What is holy is not measured by weight, he says. It is measured by obedience. The leader smiles. Obedience keeps people calm. Yes, that's why I suggested an offering. Suggested. He won't admit. He won't deny. He floats above truth like oil on water. Aaron turns to me. Eleazar, he says, bring the record of the store. Bring the guard. Bring the one who carried the coal. My stomach tightens. This is becoming a hearing, not a conversation. The leader's eyes flick to me. Careful, they say without words. I leave to gather them, but outside the tent I catch movement. Two of the leader's men near the store path speaking low. One holds a folded cloth, white as bone in the morning sun. My blood runs cold. They're still taking, even now. I step into the shadow of a tent pole and watch. If I confront them, they'll scatter and deny. If I follow, I might find the source. Either way, this is no longer about one pan. It's a network, and I'm standing alone between holiness and politics. I follow at a distance, keeping my steps quiet in the sand. The two men move like they know the camp's blind spots, behind cooking tents, past stacked waterskins, through a lane where no children play. That alone is proof. Innocence doesn't need shadows. They stop at a tent that looks ordinary. No guards, no symbols, just plain cloth and a rope tied too neatly. One man lifts the flap and slips inside. The other stays out, watching. My heart pounds, but my face stays still. Control the outside, I tell myself. Let the inside shake. A gust of wind carries a scent, sweet, sharp, resin, incense. I inch closer and hear voices, not loud, careful. A third voice, older, confident. I recognize the tone before I recognize the words. The leader's advisor, the one who always stands half a step behind him. People need a sign, the advisor says. If the priests won't act, we will. You can't, someone whispers back. After what happened, that's exactly why, the advisor replies. Fear is a tool. Hold it correctly, and it builds obedience. My stomach twists. They're talking about holiness like it's politics, like it's a lever. The man outside turns his head suddenly, scanning. I freeze in the shadow of a water jar. He doesn't see me. He spits into the sand, bored. Inside the tent, something clinks, metal on metal, a bronze pan. I could burst in, drag them out, make a scene, or I could go back with witnesses and catch them with the items in hand. But if I leave, they might burn the proof. If I stay, I might be discovered alone. I touch the linen at my sleeve, clean, bright. My brothers died for extra, and now extra is being planned again, in secret. I take one slow breath and step toward the tent flap. The guard man turns his back for one lazy moment, and I use it. I cross the open sand like a shadow that forgot it has a body. My fingers catch the tent flap. Warm air breathes out, oil, sweat, and that sweet bite of resin. Inside, 3 men freeze. On a low crate sits the bronze pan. Beside it, more linen scraps, a small pouch of incense, and a coil of fresh wick. Not 1 pan, 2. Not 1 pouch, several. The advisor lifts his hands as if he's calming a child. "Eleazar," he says gently, like my name belongs in his mouth. "You shouldn't be here alone." "I'm not alone," I lie, and I hate myself for it. But the lie buys me a second. One of the men reaches for the pan. I step forward fast. "Don't touch it," I command. My voice snaps like a rope. They stop. For a heartbeat, I have control. Then the advisor smiles. "We are protecting the camp," he says. "We are preventing another tragedy." Another tragedy. He says it like he's offering kindness, but he's pressing on my bruise. I swallow hard. "You don't prevent judgment by stealing holiness," I say. My hands tremble now, visible. I force them still by gripping my sash. The advisor's eyes flick to the tremble. He sees weakness and thinks it's permission. "The people need to see fire," he murmurs. "A sign, not fear from above. Fear we can guide." Guided fear. Controlled fire. That's how cities burn. I glance at the exit. The guardman is still outside. If he shouts, I'm trapped. If I shout, they'll claim I attacked them. I choose my words like stepping stones. "You will come with me to Aaron," I say. "Now." One man laughs under his breath. The advisor's smile fades. "And if we don't?" My mouth goes dry. Because my next answer will decide if I become a peacemaker or a spark. "And if we don't?" the advisor asks again, softer. It's not a question. It's a test. My mind races through options like feet on hot stones. If I run, they will hide the pans. If I fight, it becomes a scandal. If I shout, the guard outside will claim I'm the threat. So I do something smaller, something colder. I step closer to the crate and pull my cloak wide like I'm shielding the items from dust. My body blocks their hands. My voice drops. "If you don't," I say, "then every witness I bring will hear you admit you planned this." The advisor's brows lift. "Admit?" he repeats, amused. I point to the incense pouches. "You said the people need a sign," I answer. "You said fear is a tool. Those words are already out of your mouth. They will not go back in." One man shifts, uneasy. Another looks at the tent flap, thinking of escape. The advisor steps toward me. I smell resin on his breath. "You're grieving," he whispers. "Grief makes boys dramatic. Let your father handle this. Go back to your rituals." Boys. My jaw clenches. He's trying to shrink me. I force my shoulders back. "I'm the one standing here," I say, "and the holy things are behind me." Outside, the guard man coughs. A signal or just impatience? My nerves jump. I need witnesses. Now. I lift my voice, not a shout, but loud enough to carry. "Aaron," I call, "send men to this tent." The advisor's eyes flash. His hand darts toward the nearest pan. I move first. I kick sand onto the crate, enough to dull the metal, enough to mark it, enough to make any touch leave a trace. The pan rattles. The advisor freezes. He knows what marks mean. And now the tent holds its breath, waiting to see who will arrive first. My father or the leader. Footsteps rush outside, more than one. Relief hits me first, then fear, because I don't know whose feet they are. The tent flap jerks open. 2 Levites stand there, breathing hard, followed by my father. Aaron's face is calm, but his eyes are sharp enough to cut linen. He takes in the scene in one glance. The crate, the pans dusted with sand, the incense pouches, the men standing like trapped animals. He doesn't ask me what happened. He doesn't need to. He asks them. "Who gave you permission?" Aaron says. The advisor bows slightly, respectful and slippery. "We acted for the people," he replies, "to keep peace." Aaron steps closer to the crate. He doesn't touch anything. He just points. "Holy things are not toys for peace," he says. "They are commands for fear of God." The advisor's smile returns. "Then punish us," he says, as if daring it. "But understand what you're doing. The camp is shaking. If you shame leaders' men, you shame the leaders. And if you shame the leaders, you divide the tribes. Divide. That word is a knife. I feel my throat tighten. This is the real altar now, where power is offered. Aaron looks at me. It's the same look as before. You will learn the weight. Eleazar, he says, bring witnesses and bring the leader. The advisor's eyes flicker, not fear, calculation. I step out into the bright morning. The air feels thin. The camp looks normal. Children, pots, laughter starting. None of them know a second fire is being prepared behind plain cloth. As I walk to summon the leader, I realize something ugly. The advisor wants this. He wants a public clash. He wants to force Aaron to choose between holiness and unity. And I'm the one carrying the matchbox, trying not to drop it. The leader arrives slower than anyone else, like time waits for him. He steps into the tent and pauses at the sight of Aaron and the Levites. His eyes land on the crate, then on the advisor. A tiny nod passes between them, small enough to deny, clear enough to feel. "What is this?" the leader asks, voice smooth. Aaron answers with silence first. Then he points. "This is unauthorized incense," he says, "taken from holy stores. Prepared in secret." The leader sighs like a disappointed father. "So," he says, "my men were enthusiastic." "They were disobedient," Aaron replies. The leader turns his gaze to me. "Eleazar," he says, gentle, almost kind, "you've been through much. Your brothers—" He stops, as if remembering manners. "Your grief is fresh. Perhaps you misread fear as conspiracy." I feel heat rise behind my eyes. He's offering me an exit. That makes me a fool. I keep my voice steady. "The store is missing linen," I say. "The guard admits records were stopped. The coal was wrapped in sanctuary cloth." The advisor adds, calm, "We sought to protect the people." Aaron steps forward, and for the first time his calm feels like thunder held back. "Protection is not yours to invent," he says. "Not in this place." The leader's smile fades. "And if I disagree?" he asks softly. "Will you condemn the leaders? Will you turn the camp against itself?" I watch Aaron's face. I see the trap closing. Then Aaron does something unexpected. He looks at me again. "Eleazar," he says, "what does the law require when holy things are taken and used wrongly?" My mouth goes dry. He's putting the answer on my tongue, in front of power. I know the words. I also know what the words will cost. And the leader's eyes are on me, waiting to see if I will flinch. My tongue feels too big for my mouth. The law is clear, but clarity doesn't make it easy. I inhale slowly. "What is holy must be repaid," I say, choosing each word like glass. "And the wrong must be named, not hidden." The leader tilts his head, listening like a judge. The advisor's smile thins. They both expected Aaron to speak. They didn't expect the surviving son to carry the blade of words. Aaron nods once. Small approval, heavy support. "And how is it repaid?" he asks. I look at the linen scraps, the pouches, the pans. "With return," I answer, "with added cost, and with separation until it's made right." Separation. The leader's eyes sharpen. "In a camp, separation is shame. It's also safety." He steps closer, voice low. "Eleazar," he says, "if you push for separation, the people will think the leaders are unclean. They will panic, and panic is fire." I hold his gaze, surprised by my own steadiness. "Then let them fear the right thing," I say. "Not rumors, not secret signs." Silence lands. Even the men by the crate stop breathing. The advisor laughs softly. "Listen to him," he says. "He wants to teach the camp fear." I feel the old ache in my chest, my brothers, the sudden hush. For a moment, I almost back down. Not for them, for peace. Then I see the sand on the bronze pan, the mark I made, proof, a line in the dust. I remember, peace built on stolen holiness is not peace. It's delay. Aaron raises his staff slightly, not as a threat, as a decision. The items return to the sanctuary, he says. These men will be held apart until judgment is complete. The leader's face goes cold, and I realize the next move will not be made in this tent. It will be made in the camp. Word spreads faster than runners. By midday, people are already gathering, pretending it's curiosity, but standing like they're bracing for a storm. Mothers pull children close, men fold arms tight. Fear is back in the camp, wearing a new mask. Justice. Aaron chooses an open place near the sanctuary entrance, not inside, not hidden. He wants light, not whispers. The crate is carried out. The bronze pans glint in the sun, innocent looking, until you remember what extra can cost. The advisor and the two men stand apart, guarded by Levites. The leader stands with other chiefs, face smooth again, but his jaw is tight. Aaron speaks first, voice calm, carrying. Holy items were taken, he says, prepared without command. Murmurs ripple. Someone gasps when the incense pouches are raised for all to see. The leader lifts his hands, not in prayer, like a politician calming a crowd. We all desire safety, he calls. We all fear another disaster. Disaster. My brother's shadow again. Aaron turns to me. Eleazar will speak, he says. My stomach drops. Standing in a tent was hard. Standing before the camp is worse. Here, eyes don't just judge, they choose sides. I step forward. The sun hits my face. I feel sweat at my hairline. My voice tries to hide. These items were taken from sanctuary stores, I say. Records were stopped. A coal was carried in priestly cloth. I hold up the linen scrap so everyone sees the tight weave. A shout rises from the crowd. Who did it? Another voice demands. Before I can answer, the leader steps forward. This is an overreaction, he says. A few scraps of cloth? A misunderstanding? Must we shame our own? The crowd shifts, some nodding, some frowning. My chest tightens. If I name him, the camp could split. If I don't, holiness becomes a toy. I open my mouth, and a child cries out suddenly, pointing toward the sanctuary entrance. Look! Heads turn. A thin curl of smoke rises where no smoke should be. The smoke is thin, almost polite. That's what makes it terrifying. It's not roaring, it's sneaking. Aaron's head snaps toward the sanctuary entrance. The crowd's murmur turns into one breath held. The leader's hands drop. Even he looks unsettled. I move before I'm told. My feet carry me to the entrance, heart hammering. The curtain stirs. Heat brushes my face, not the steady altar heat. This feels wrong, like something waking up. I glance back once. The advisor is watching me, eyes bright, too bright, like a man waiting for a spark to prove his point. I pull the curtain aside. Inside, near the lampstand area, a small pan sits on the ground. Not one of the pans from the crate, another, fresh. And a coil of wick glows faintly, trying to become a flame. My stomach turns. They planted it. During the gathering, in the open, for a second I can't breathe. This is my brother's moment replayed, with new actors and the same arrogance. Aaron appears beside me, fast for an old man. He sees it, and his face goes pale, then hard. No one enters, he calls behind us. Stay back. The crowd obeys, because now fear has a shape. I kneel. The glow pulses, hungry. My hands hover. If I smother it wrong, it could flare. If I leave it, it will grow. And I hear the leader behind us, voice loud for everyone. You see? Disorder. The priests cannot even guard their own tent. The words hit like a shove. Aaron's voice drops near my ear. Eleazar, he says, do it the commanded way. Commanded way. No improvisation. No panic. I nod, even though my hands want to shake apart. I take a cloth, sanctuary linen, and cover the wick, cutting the air. The glow fades, but the smoke thickens for one last breath, like a warning. When I lift the cloth again, the pan is dark. Safe. For now. I stand, turning to face the crowd and the leader, and I realize someone just tried to force a second tragedy, and they did it on my watch. The crowd's fear turns fast, like a herd changing direction. Some stare at me with relief, like I saved them. Others stare like I failed them first. The leader uses the moment. "This is what I warned you about," he calls. "Unstable priests, unchecked rituals. We need order, strong order." Strong order, his kind of order. Aaron steps forward, staff in hand. "Order is obedience," he says, "not power." The leader smiles. "Then obey the need of the people," he answers. I look at the dark pan on the floor. It's not just sabotage, it's theater, a sign made by human hands to steer human fear. I turn to the Levites guarding the advisor and the two men. "Search them," I say. The words come out before I can second guess. Authority again. Unwanted. Necessary. The Levites hesitate, glancing at Aaron. He nods once. They search the men. One has resin crumbs in his pouch. Another has a wick coil tucked under his belt. The crowd gasps. Proof. The kind of proof that doesn't need speeches. The advisor's face stays calm, but his eyes flick to the leader like a message. We can still twist this. The leader raises his hands again. "Yes," he says smoothly, "my men tried to prevent panic. They acted too boldly. I will correct them." Correct? Not confess. Not admit he ordered it. Aaron's eyes narrow. "The pan appeared during the gathering," he says. "Who entered the sanctuary?" The leader spreads his hands wider. "Anyone could have," he replies. "The camp is large. The priests were busy speaking." The crowd murmurs. Doubt slips back in, oily. I feel my chest tighten. This is how truth gets drowned by "anyone could have." Then the woman who warned me before steps out from the crowd again. Her voice shakes, but she stands firm. "I saw the advisor's hand," she says. "He gave the pan to a boy, a fast boy. He ran it here." A boy. The crowd parts as a teenager is pushed forward, eyes wide, terrified. He looks at the leader, then at Aaron, then at me, like he's choosing which fire to fear. Aaron speaks gently. "Tell what you carried." The boy's lips tremble. He whispers, "A pan and a message." "What message?" I ask. He swallows. "He said, do it while Eleazar speaks. Make them doubt him." Silence falls like a stone, and the leader's face finally cracks, just a hairline fracture, because now the plot has a sentence, and sentences can condemn. The boy's words hang in the air longer than smoke ever could. People don't move. Even the animals go quiet, like the camp itself is listening. The leader's eyes lock on the boy, hard, warning. The boy shrinks. He's just a runner. He doesn't know laws. He only knows who feeds him. Aaron steps between them without raising his voice. "No threats," he says, calm as stone. The leader's jaw tightens. "I didn't threaten," he replies. "A child imagines tone." I feel anger flare, not loud anger, hot, controlled, the kind that makes you shake if you don't give it a job. So I give it a job. I step toward the dark pan and lift it with a cloth, holding it high where everyone can see. "This was placed here," I say, "not by God, by hands." The crowd stirs. A woman whispers a prayer. A man mutters, "So it was a trick." The advisor speaks smoothly. "We tried to help," he says, "but grief has made these priests suspicious." Grief. Again. They keep pressing that bruise, hoping it will bleed in public. I look at Aaron. I expect him to explode. He doesn't. He turns to the leader and asks one simple question. "Will you submit your advisor to priestly judgment?" Submit. The word is a gate. The leader smiles, thin. "I will judge my own house," he says. Aaron nods slowly, as if he expected that. Then he turns to me. "Eleazar," he says, "what happens when leaders refuse correction?" My throat tightens. This isn't a law question anymore. It's a cliff. If I answer too hard, the tribes fracture. If I answer too soft, holiness becomes negotiable. I look at the crowd. I see fear. I see hunger for clarity. I see how easily they could follow the loudest voice. And I realize the real battle is not incense. It's trust. I speak, steady, loud enough for all. When leaders refuse correction, The camp learns to fear men more than God. The leader's smile disappears. For the first time, he looks at me like I'm not a grieving son. He looks at me like I'm a problem. And problems in a camp are often removed. That night, the camp feels different, quieter, but not calm. Quiet like a room after an argument. Everyone pretending they didn't hear, everyone replaying every word. I walk alone near the sanctuary ropes. The stars above are cold points of light. The linen on my arms is pale in the moon glow, and for the first time I hate how clean it looks. Clean cloth doesn't mean clean hearts. Behind me, footsteps stop when I stop. I don't turn right away. I listen. 2 breaths. Not Levites, not priests. A voice speaks from the dark. Eleazar! My spine tightens. I turn slowly. One of the leader's men stands there, hands empty, face half lit. He isn't smiling. You should be careful, he says. You're making powerful enemies. I didn't choose this, I reply. He takes 1 step closer, then stops, like he knows the holy boundary line, even if he doesn't respect it. The leader wants peace, he says. Peace needs silence. Silence. The same weapon, softer now. I feel my brother's absence like a weight on my shoulders. If they were alive, would they tell me to back off? Or would they beg me to guard the line they crossed? I swallow and answer, quiet. Peace that demands silence is not peace. It's a lid. The man's eyes narrow. Then lids will be forced, he murmurs. He leaves without another word, vanishing into the tents like smoke. I stand there a long moment, hands clenched inside linen sleeves. The holy place behind me is still. The camp ahead is restless, and I finally understand what it means to survive a tragedy. You don't just carry grief, you carry responsibility into a world that would rather forget. I turn back toward the sanctuary, whispering the only prayer that fits. Keep me steady. In the dark, no answer comes, only the sound of a rope creaking in the wind, like a warning that something is pulling.